Hi everyone, thanks for being with me. I have another report on a guy whom I believe is one of Australia's greatest liars. So this is kind of like, in a way, this is like the George Santos of Australia, but with a bit of a twist and perhaps with a little bit more intellect. I don't know. That the question around intellect is open for debate. But here he is telling us that some time ago, anyway, I don't know when it was a thing in Sydney not long ago. This man gave a speech and he was declaring that pedophile rings are there. There are organisations that are testing children, that are capturing children and performing operations on them, and a whole host of terrible things. It's the worst of the worst. Now, none of these stories that these QAnon people spread are true, and it is extremely exciting when one discovers that they have been fact-checked by someone like the Australian Associated Press, who have come to the conclusion now that this man's a clown, an absolute clown, because they fact-checked something he said which was rather bizarre. So the person I'm talking about is Ricardo Bossi. Now, Ricardo is standing for the upper house in the upcoming New South Wales election. And we need to be mindful of this man and his activities because he spreads so much crap. He could be working in a sewerage farm. So here he is at one point telling everybody about ritual abuse and how it's occurring. And he has this document that he says has been sent to him, and he's now delivering this terrible news to his audiences. Now, it is proved that the document that was sent to him by a source we do not know, clearly this man does not know how to fact check any information that's sent to him, so he just gathered this stuff up, said this is good, it fits with my idea of the world and my thing that I hold around pedophilia, and that everybody's a pedophile if you're in politics or whatever, and that the government system is wrong, and that we shouldn't have elections, we should have something else according to him. Like, the whole thing is just so bloody bizarre, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind that anybody would believe him. However, in this particular report, we can see that there's something wrong with him. There really is. And I'm not here to say that what that is disturbing about this man, but I'll let you kind of work it out for yourself. So here he is with a large thing pointing out of his mouth so that he could be heard in a public gathering, I'm assuming, spouting so much crap that I'm surprised it's not oozing from other orifices as well. But in this thing, a serial misinformation spreader, namely Bossi, has claimed to have unearthed a document which proves that disturbing experiments are being carried out on children as young as 3. Now, this must have got his knickers in a knot when he discovered this information. He must have thought, here it is. This is the mother lode. I finally found everything I need to find out about these terrible, terrible pedophiles that are out there. And suddenly I've got this document. And this document now tells me the truth. I have it, I can present it to people, I can show them that I haven't been bullshitting all these years, that I've actually got something here to validate my misunderstood, misconstrued, misrepresented version of the world. This is where he's come from. Ricardo Bossi warns his audience they'll need a bucket because what he's about to show them is extremely distressing, as he compares the supposed experiments as tantamount to satanic ritual abuse. However, the alleged document is in fact from a video game. So Mr. Bossi, a former SAS officer, God, it makes you wonder what they're teaching them in the army these days, doesn't it, to have crazy people like this be a result of being in the armed forces. and leader of a fringe party, Australia One, Australia Nobody, made the claim during a live event in Melbourne. It has recently been shared to Facebook, and where it has attracted more than 50,000 viewers. So people are interested in this crap, apparently. I'm here to tell you that it's crap, that this is garbage, and we need to accept it for what it is written. Before introducing, so I love this bit, before introducing the document, Mr. Bossi warns those in attendance about his graphic contents and asks his two daughters to leave the room. I would suggest that if you've got two, I don't know how young these daughters are, but if they're younger than 18, I would suggest that this might be an issue for the Child Protection Department. Seriously? Living with a man that's got these views? I would suggest it's danger to the children, in fact. This is a document that was sent to us. He tells the audience. We get a lot of material, most of it probably true. Most of the information is probably true. But unless we can validate it, we don't run with it. Right, well, it's good to know, because clearly the information that is provided here has been validated, has been fact-checked, and so now we're going to run with it. We just put it off to the side, and so when the time comes, well, we got validation on this just recently. Now, I do need to say, what does that tell us about his fact-checking system if he has actually attempted to validate this document? What does it tell us, given that the document is totally false? Well, it tells us that he's lying. That's what it tells us. He didn't fact-check this at all. The man is speaking out of his ass. He had no idea where this came from until the AAP checked it out. He shows the document on a big screen and uses it as a 2004 report from a lab technician to their bosses. Mr. Bossi reads from the report, which provides details of a 3-year-old called Libertina, who is subjected to various physical and psychological tests. He suggests the girl's mother may have been terminated in front of her and concludes by appearing to blame the Freemasons. Now, whenever Bossi talks, he's always blaming Freemasons, politicians, anybody that's in what he considers a secret society. I mean, I would like to argue that the society which he runs is pretty damn secret in itself. But nevertheless, this was never supposed to get out, he adds. If they think that is all we've got, they are sadly mistaken. However, but the document is actually the creation of the makers of the video game Doki Doki Literature Club. Oh, dear me. As explained in this YouTube video, which you can look here on the site, one of the central characters, Yuri, describes a religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. From within the game, players can be directed to a web page called Project Libertina, which features Mr. Bossi's document. So it's a video game. So the AAP looked at the document and they found the matching document at Libertina. Now, I would argue that this jerk is going to say that they have taken the document from the original source and put it in the video game. So he'll turn it around so that it seems to apply itself to his theory. But then you need to be able to show people where the original document came from. And I'm pretty convinced that this man is unable to do that. It goes on to say, from within the game, players can direct to a web page. Yep, it's sort that. A writer down Savato confirmed to AAP Fact Check that he wrote the fictional material for Project Libertina as a tie-in for Doki Doki Literature Club. Extremely bizarre to see my creative, this is what he says, I love it. Extremely bizarre to see my creative material stolen for this purpose, he said in an email. The document is subject of numerous fan theories, including that the Project Libertina, and some people out there might, younger people, might know what this game's about. I've got no bloody clue. Measures to sequel to Doki Doki Literature Club. And there are tons of other examples. Now, I'm just going to flick over. Oh, I can't go to that page for some reason. So I've tried to get there before, but I don't know whether this one will work. Yes, here we go. So this is just another one. I don't want to harm too much on this bossy bloke because, but there again, I think we need to be aware that there are crazy people out there. He happens to be one of them. Now, in another article he claims the Constitution claim judged to be utter nonsense. So the parties, so that you can have a political party. They say it's not mentioned in the Constitution, and it isn't. It wasn't until a law was changed in 1977 that talked about. I think they might mention it here. That talked about a senator. If a senator resigns, leaves, whatever during midterm, then someone from that same party can replace the senator. So, they fact checked this claim. So the claim is political parties are illegal under the Australian Constitution. Now, if that was the case, then I don't know what we do in terms of electing members to Parliament. I've got no idea what the alternative is. The verdict from AAP is false. There is nothing outstanding outlawing political parties in the Constitution, which is clearly what this man is claiming. Australia's federal election in May saw the reins of government switch to a different political party, but a serial misinformation spreader, a serial liar is perhaps what I prefer to call him, claims political parties are actually illegal under the Constitution. However, constitutional law and history experts told AAP fact checker the claim is false and obvious nonsense. And, I think even saying that to these people makes no difference whatsoever. Ricardo Bossi, in a video shared on YouTube and Facebook, says parties are actually illegal under the Constitution. Just because we have it doesn't mean it's legal. The Constitution actually says you must direct the elector. That's you. Don't call yourself a voter. This is a sovereign citizen shit. Call yourself an elector. The elector must directly elect their representative. Now, when you put a party in there, it has interposed itself between the elector and the representative, which is unconstitutional. Mr. Bossi is leader of that party. He unsuccessfully stood in West Sydney, right, unless hopefully he fails again. So Professor Graham Orr of the University of Queensland, an expert in electoral law, told AAP fact checker in an email that Mr. Bossi's claim were obvious nonsense at many levels. Another person, Dr. Saunders. Now, these are professional people who study this stuff. Now, I don't know what Bossi's background is, but I'm sure it isn't law, and particularly isn't constitutional law. An associate professor at Deakin University with research interest in constitutional law agreed, telling AAP the claim that political parties are illegal under Australian Constitution is false. The Constitution does not attempt to prohibit the existence of political parties in any way. And it goes on. And there's a whole stack of other stuff that is about Bossi's claims that are just absolutely, absolutely untrue. And I think it's important that we call these dudes out because they actually have a free rein. They can say whatever they like, do their YouTube videos and whatever, get banned from YouTube for saying crap that they shouldn't say, and then they go to another site like BitChute that I talked about in another video earlier today. So these people are selling vulnerable people a stack of lies, and it's about time we stood up against them. And we said to them, just stop doing it. I don't think we'll ever change their mind. I have this thing now that we can't change QAnon people, sovereign citizens. We can't change their version of the world. Their version is just their version. But what we can do is say that it's crap and stand up to them and say, don't keep spreading this shit, because the more you spread it, the more I'll come back at you and say it's garbage, and I'll show you why. Because there are lots of other fact checkers out there now that check this stuff, and it's easy to check. You Google things and you find out what other information there is that substantiates your claim versus theirs. So that's it. See, what do you think? Put a comment below. Also tell me whether you like this video, and subscribe to my channel for more interesting information such as this. Take care, everybody. Look after yourselves. And more importantly, be safe.